Welcome. Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen. I'm Dodsey. I'm joined by Cody Bowen. This is Sheriff Cody Bowen, that is. This is a live interactive show where we talk about issues in LeGrand, Union County. It's brought to you by Loveland Safe Ride, and we're getting close to New Year's, Cody. And you know that, probably the biggest event of the year for Safe Ride, I would imagine, or close, is New Year's Eve. And this program that Kevin started almost 20 years ago, right around 20 years ago. We don't even want to put a number on it because it's probably impossible, but what a great program it is.
Outstanding program. In fact, Jerry reached out the other day and just made, random phone calls and stuff. Hey, if you guys need anything for your Christmas party or anything, any events, let us know. We'll get you home safe. And it's just there's, like I've said multiple times, there's no way to count how many lives that program has saved.
It's so awesome. Last year on New Year's Eve, I went for a ride along. It was fun.
That's right. You did. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a good time. I think we ended up giving about 6 or 7 groups a ride, and it was all different types of people, and some people wanted to be filmed and some didn't, and we filmed some of it, and it was cool. It was good to see like the camaraderie between, the program and people in the community. People know about it.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely giving back to the community tenfold. If you know the history on it, why it was started, and in memory of his friend, and man, I tell you, it's an inspiring program. The people that help out with it, the car dealerships that help out with it, and not even that. I mean, Loveland Funeral Home, Kevin Loveland, especially when it comes to our youth or anything like that, he's always the first one to step up and say, our local business owners, Rock and Sons for sure. I mean, any entity, this community would not exist without those people in those places.
Yeah, Jerry already commented. He said they're going to be out giving free rides on New Year's Eve from 8 to 3.
There he is. Good.
And the volunteers, too.
Absolutely, the drivers.
One of our guys was like, how do you get involved in that? And I'm like, it's a long waiting list. People, it's a pretty prestigious job. You know what I mean? People don't take it lightly.
No. Good program. Great program.
Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen, brought to you by Loveland Safe Ride. We're going to talk for a minute, but we also have a guest. We'll bring him on after our first break. But First, let me check in with Cody and see how are things going? What's new?
Things are great. Going in, just finishing up my third year on my first term.
Dude, that's crazy.
It is
3
crazy.
years. We've been doing this show for 3 years then.
Yeah.
Because we started it right after you got elected.
Right. Yeah. And it's I went and filed and going up for re-election here, coming in November, obviously, of next year. But I think it closes in March. So if anybody's interested in running for sheriff, get your name in there before March. Please don't, because campaigning is awful. I hate it. But things have gone really well. I think the only thing that was really stacked against me that some of the other candidates mentioned and stuff was, my lack of experience, which I felt I had. Obviously, I wouldn't have put myself in that position, but these 3 years they've been amazing. We have a great law enforcement community with our partners, with Chief Bell, with Captain Connor, OSP, and our Forest Service law enforcement officers. Everybody. It's just, I'm very fortunate to be sheriff in Union County. I'll tell you that. I just came back from our annual Oregon State Sheriff's Association conference down in Bend. We have that every December down in Bend, and listening to some of the other sheriffs talk about their frustrations with their commissioners or their city council or whatever goes on, just hearing nightmares. I'm very fortunate and very thankful for the community that we live in and the commissioners that we have. I'm blessed. Not only that, but the people that work for me, the people that work for this county, a tremendous group of people. I couldn't do this job as effectively as we do as an office without each individual employee that's in my office. Very thankful each and every day. And I'm not a big micromanager by any means. I leave them alone, let them do their job, and it's the comfort that I feel from the confidence and the ability that we have in our law enforcement organization at the sheriff's office. I sleep easy at night knowing that they're out there protecting everybody, and very fortunate. But yeah.
Nice. This is a live interactive show, so feel free to comment, add questions, and I'll ask Cody as they come through if they're appropriate. Let's talk about one more thing before we take a break and bring on our guest. 3 years. If you had to pick one word to sum up your 3 years so far in office as sheriff, what would that word be?
One word.
One word.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Why?
Yeah. Gratitude to my partners. Gratitude to the people that have taken me under their wing, had patience, understand that me, the person that I am, I'm learning, but I don't always think before I speak. And the gratitude that some of these other departments and the people in this community and my own employees, my wife, for the patience and the understanding. It's an empowering feeling. Being sheriff is not something that it bears a lot of weight on your shoulders, and there's a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of people that look to you, that look to me for a decision-making process for, what are we going to do about that? What's coming to our county, that type of stuff. So there's a heavy responsibility that I don't take lightly. And I'm very grateful for the partners that I have, especially the partners in Union County, the leadership, the elected officials, to right down to the newest guy that we have in the department. I'm very proud and grateful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen. He's Union County Sheriff Cody Bowen. I'm Dodsey. We're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to bring on our guest, the Grand Mayor, Justin Rock. We'll be back right after this.
Eastern Oregon is full of interesting people, with interesting minds and interesting things to say. Here at EO Live, we're committed to connecting you to these intriguing people with EO Talks. We let our special guests share their ideas and life experiences with deep, open, engaging, and inquisitive conversations. You'll also be informed in depth on some of the most recent and relevant events, issues, and more. EO Talks on EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
Welcome back. Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen. I'm Doddsy, Sheriff Cody Bowen. We're joined by LeGrand Mayor Justin Rock. Also, he wears a lot of hats in my life because he's a friend. He's also the owner of Rock & Sons. He sponsors my show. He's the mayor of the town that I live in. And I mean, we all three grew up together, so I kind of had this idea. Well, I've thought about it, but I was at Rock & Sons and I was like, telling him about the Cody Bowen show, and he's like, well, why don't I come on there sometime? I was like, cool, let's do it. And so we end up here today.
Here we are.
Yeah. How you been, JB?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. So you're coming at the end of your first year
Right.
as mayor. What's the word you would pick so far to describe?
Whirlwind.
Why?
I've been doing the politics for a long time. I did what? 9 years, or no, I can't even do it right. I can tell you the right number. I think I did 11 years on the planning commission. I did 8 years as a councilor, now a year as mayor.
Yeah.
There's still a huge learning curve. Because everybody's like, oh, the mayor doesn't do anything. We have a weak mayor system. Yeah, whatever. There's a lot to be a mayor. There's a lot of responsibility. Of course, I'm only one of the 7 that decide during the meetings, but I have a lot more responsibility because everything gets done. In my eyes, it reflects back on me.
Yeah. You're the picture. You're the face.
Yes.
I get that 100%.
I don't know if everybody wants to see that face, but I'm here.
So let's look back real fast before we move forward. Either one of you guys ever thought we would be sitting here?
No.
We have this conversation
All the time.
several times. Because we grew up on the same street.
Right, you two, yeah.
Yeah, and it to think back, when I was running for sheriff, I went to him for advice and talked to, and somebody to listen, and who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? None of our parents would have ever dreamed this.
No, our mothers never.
Our teachers are, they always say you can grow up and do whatever you want to do, but never in a million years did I think that our paths would align in such a manner locally.
But the thing is there is no one out there like me and Cody. We were born and raised in this community. This is our community.
Yeah.
I love my community.
Yeah.
I know Cody does.
Yeah.
And that's where we are good candidates for what we do, is because we're going to give you everything we can, because we want to see our community succeed, and that's why we've been good choices in the positions that we've been put in.
Well, I can agree with you 100% on that. The importance of having people in positions that directly affect the community, that have been a part of that community. It's so important. Not only do you know the history, but you've been here. You know what I mean? You've seen how things have gone in this community over the last, 48, almost 50 years.
Ooh, 48.
You said 48. You're almost on the downhill
48.
slide.
I just turned 48. Come on now, be nice.
But the importance of that is paramount. I mean, it's huge. It really is. Cody, let's shift a little bit now, and until I get a question from somebody. I'm getting a lot of comments. People are saying, grandma's here, your mom, your daughter's saying you're the best. Scott Ray's saying you bet he is, Scott Ray. But let's switch a little bit and talk about, and obviously your county, your city. So there's a little bit of division there, but because of the uniqueness of your guys' friendship and the uniqueness of the relationship between LeGrand PD and Union County Sheriff's Office, there's a lot of interaction. You know what I mean?
Sure. One thing I think in the last year with the different people in the different positions, I think we've changed that division. I think as a city and a county, we are working better. I mean, we always need room to improve, but I think we've improved that a little bit.
I think communication for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
The past, I remember when I was first being on the council 9 years ago, we'd go to a commission and council meeting, and it was cold. Nobody wanted to talk to each other. They're on their side, we're on our side. No, that's not it. We are one community, and we all need to work together, because that's the only way we're going to make anything better.
Right. So I'll bring up a topic that is, is obviously every time we have a show, we talk about it, the drug problem. Let's start there. Let's just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Where are we at with that?
It's frightening, statewide, nationwide. The amount of overdoses, the amount of fentanyl that's in our state specifically, but locally here in our community, I won't say it's overwhelming, but it's definitely something that takes a lot of our attention, our resources. An addict's resource to treatment or facility or whatever it looks like is there's nothing in the state of Oregon pretty much. It's frustrating, to say the least, but I know that there's good things in the working. Years to come, they've realized that Measure 110 was a complete failure. So there's works in the legislative process to address that coming up. But drugs in any community, addiction itself, no matter what the drug is, addiction itself, it falls back on a choice and a decision-making process, and without the opportunities or without the ability to address that addiction or someplace to go to get treatment, to get cleaned up, to learn how to live without it, and recover every day. I talk to a lot of recovering addicts that it's every day, every process, or every hour, and so we're lacking. I would say locally and statewide and nationwide as far as resources when it comes to treatment, in-house treatment. Accountability has been a big thing in our legal system.
Of course.
But I feel that we've kind of, say that we've reached rock bottom, but I feel that people are awakening to the situation and how bad it really is, and what used to work to a certain extent, the stuff that we're trying now doesn't work whatsoever. So it's uplifting to know that we've hit that ground zero, and we're going to start build back up and addressing it and going in a direction that will work. Whether it's accountability, treatment, facilities, awareness, education, all of that stuff. So
The full gamut.
the full gamut, yeah.
What about, I know you're not law enforcement, Justin, but you are the mayor. So you sit at every city council meeting. What's your take on it? How do you feel about it?
I don't just sit there. I run the meeting. What are you talking about?
You know what I mean. You hear. I was
No.
using that as a term of you're there and you hear it.
The things I see is sad, because the first responders, the sheriff, the city, the fire department, the rural fire department, these guys, their hands are tied. They are trying to do everything they can in their capability and what they have, but they're overwhelmed. They truly are. And I see it, and I give 100% respect to all the first responders, because they do an amazing job every day. Just imagine given a job that you can't complete, because that's truly what they have been done. But they do an amazing job with what they have.
Yeah.
They truly do.
It's that's a good way to put it. You're tasked with a job and you can't
Yeah.
complete it 100%.
Yeah. It's very
What do your
frustrating.
guys say about that, Cody?
What's that?
What do your guys say about that?
Being a police officer, sheriff, city, whatever it is, it's a different time, it's a different age. Recruitment is I won't say it's impossible, but it's very hard to find people that want to do this job. The guys get frustrated. You'll try and solve a problem. Sometimes that's solved by putting somebody in jail, and then the next morning you see them, or even hours later, they're right back out on the street. It's you have to have the ability to recognize that, okay, I did my job. I did my portion of this job, and now it's on to somebody else. Whether that the judicial system or treatment, whatever that looks like. You have to have confidence in knowing that you did your job, you did it correctly, and then you pass that torch on to someone else. And then whether that, and I don't want to say an individual, but the system, you pass that off to the system, and then the system fails the community, the system fails the addict, the criminal, whatever that looks like. And then, the good outweighs the bad. It really does. We deal with people, but we interact with people on some of the worst days of their lives.
Yeah.
Just when chaos is going on and whatnot. And what's nice about being in a small community is, 90% of the time you deal or handle that situation with that person, but then you're going to see them the next day at Safeway, at Walmart. You're going to see them walking the street. You're going to see them taking their kids to school, and to see those little steps of success and the thank you of, hey, that was that was the worst moment of my life, and you're some type of solid line that was in the dark that I was able
Even
to
if
hold
you
on
made
to.
it just a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Being in a small community, we have the benefit of that, of knowing everybody, obviously, in law enforcement, and our ability to talk to people, to relate to people, for them to see us in the community as fathers, sons, daughters, husbands, wives, coaches. Our kids go to the same school. You're able to, kind of break down that wall of she's a cop, he's a cop. I don't know who that person is. There's a sense of disconnect in the bigger cities. We don't have that here. Everybody knows where everybody lives. Everybody knows what kid does what sport. Everybody knows what kid gets in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing and a curse, but I enjoy it simply because it feels like you're helping your community, you're helping your people. It's rewarding. It still is rewarding, but it's tough to deal with. It really is. Yeah, you have to be able to just do your job, check it, I'm done, move on, and what happens, happens.
Right.
Out of my hands.
Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen is a live interactive show. We have guest LeGrand Mayor Justin Rock with us tonight. Feel free to ask questions, guys. Send them in the. I see some coming in. Cody, here's a question for you and a comment from Benny Sweetenlow. He says, "You both are doing excellent jobs. Cody, are you going to wrap all the vehicles in the new style wrap?" And then the second part of that question is, how are things going with the new offices in jail?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the new wrap has been 99% positive feedback. I did that obviously to make a statement. I wanted it to, our first rendering of that design was even a little bit louder than the one that came out. Fortunately, I have good staff that kind of reeled it back in a little bit. But it was important to me, the thin blue line, some people, desecrating the American flag, whatever that looks like. But the thin blue line to law enforcement, to us, is that it's the line between good and evil. And people need to know that's who we are. We're there to help. That helps identify us and who it is. It gives us pride in what we do and the vehicles that we drive. It's very recognizable, so people know that there's a police officer there. The "In God We Trust" portion of it was something that I believe our country was built off of. I believe it's something, and I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I mean, God's been taken out of a lot of different things. Yeah. And there's moments in our career that on a cold night, at a car crash, a crying child, a dying child, you're cradling in your arms, and somehow miraculously that child makes it through to another day. There's no explanation for some of the things that we see out there on the street that when it turns out good. And if I'm out by myself on patrol, which happens, weekly, responding to some level of chaos somewhere, and if that, those simple little words on my truck or something for me to believe in or something for someone else to believe in gets them home safe at night and makes them feel okay or gives them someone to talk to during that call, then I'm very supportive of it. But, 99.9% good, great feedback, a lot of positive on that. Had a few folks that have voiced concerns about it, that found it offensive, that didn't believe that, God should be on there or the thin blue line. To them, I responded to one of them. I didn't respond to the other, but literally I've had 2 emails that are negative. And then as far as the jail, we did the, like I've said multiple times when I came into this, I know we need a new jail. I've heard we need a new jail. The former sheriff worked on it for years and years. I know that we wanted a new jail, and this is why. But I needed to educate myself on that and understand all the intricacies of why do we need a new facility. So I hired the outfit out of Portland. They came down, they did an official needs assessment on our building, from the sidewalks to the drinking fountain to the jail doors to the cameras to the space to square footage, and established a very clear need for a new facility. Right. What they also did is they clarified that the facility that we have cannot be upgraded or cleaned up or added on to. There's just not enough square footage on that lot itself to do what we need to do to make the jail run more efficiently, with less staffing, more adults in custody, more inmates. We refer to them as adults in custody now. So that was good to know. What they did also is they gave us renderings of what we need as far as office space and square footage, and put together basically a building design for a ghost lot. This is what we can do when you find the property to put it on. Cool. So we're ready to go. I would say, I want to say shovel ready, other than the fact of the price tag that came with this new facility.
Yeah. There's one thing that you need. It's called cash.
If we can find the funding to do it, and I'll be honest with you, they came back in the area, and I asked for a 50-year growth, because I don't want somebody down the road to have to deal with this problem. I don't want taxpayers to say, in 20 years, we just built this building, why do we need another one? What's going on? Or why do we need to add on? So we did a 50-year growth with the community, with staffing levels, with inmates, and they came back with a pretty hefty price tag of a little over $60 million, almost $70 million, which obviously is a tremendous amount of money. But there's also, there's about $20 million figured into that, considering interest and inflation and what's going on over the next 2 years it would take from now to when they actually started it. So it's a very real price range. No surprises. It's on the heavy side. So now basically we're in the process of just kind of trimming back the fat. Okay, what do we need in the new place versus what do we have to have versus what we want.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then it's just money, just money, right? We are our commissioners.
I hear that a lot on these shows.
Just money.
It's a matter of finding money, and I don't know, honestly, to be frank with you, I don't know where we would find that locally in the community, that kind of money. I'm not going to ask for a bond, because we just had that with the school. I pay taxes myself, and the taxes even went up again this year, and it's expensive just to live. Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of pushing that. Maybe possibly some type of law enforcement levy down the years, like a 10-year levy or something. Once this gets established and once it's paid off, then that money stops coming to the office. But we do have our commissioners that are working with legislatures and representatives and lobbyists and stuff they're constantly putting that bug in their ear of, hey, Union County needs some help. So we'll see. Not giving up on it by any means. It's just, we're just figuring things out slowly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen, brought to you by Loveland Safe Ride. When we come back, I have a question from a viewer for both of you guys. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Here in Eastern Oregon, we're blessed to live in such a wonderful area, and though it may seem mild-mannered, there's actually quite a lot that goes on in this area. And apparently, there's two dinguses who happen to be here that are actually crazy enough to get up at the crack of dawn to talk about it. Tune into AM Live on EOA with Brent and Dodsey, featuring special guests, weather, sports, news, and more, every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m., only on EOA Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
Welcome back. Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen, brought to you by Loveland Safe Ride. I can't say enough about that program, man. It's so awesome, and we just have to, give thanks to Kevin and Loveland Safe Ride and the people that volunteer, all the car dealerships here in town, everybody that makes that whole thing go around, from Brown to Chachis to Beeve, all the people that drive out. I'm sure I missed people, but that's not the point. The point is it takes a whole army to do that, and the stuff that they bring to this community is unmatched. It's really cool. Coming back from the break, we have another question, and it comes from Matt Long. And we'll start with you, JB.
Go ahead.
He wants to know, what do you foresee in 2024? Like, what do you see coming?
Well, I have a re-election coming for me. That's my first part. As a city, though, I think we're doing well as a city. You know, we went through and redid all of the pay structure for the fire department, the police department, and employees, brought them up where we're going to help us with retention. You know, we have a lot of experienced people that we don't want to lose. And so that was one big step, you know, that we did in the last year to kind of help keep who we have, because these are important people. You know, first responders are number one in my eyes. Our public safety is huge, you know, and I think as a council, we did a good job of helping bring up a little bit to keep these people here and keep protecting us and helping us out.
Yeah, awesome. Cody, outside of a re-election for you, what do you see coming in 2024?
I'm excited for legislation change. I'm excited for, when I say legislation, I mean directly here affecting us, Measure 110 especially. I'm excited for the changes that are going to be coming with that. I'm excited for some things that we got going on in our office. You know, doing I hate to use the word restructuring, but we're moving some people around to attack some different areas, to be more proactive in some certain areas, especially when it comes to drugs. You know, 2024 is, man, it's a blink away, which is crazy to me. Mm-hmm. It seems like it got here so fast, but yeah, other than besides my re-election, I look forward to the working relationship that the entities have between the city and the county, and I look forward to some of the struggles that come, but I look forward to what becomes of those struggles, because we have a great line of communication, we have a great line of leaders, and I see nothing but positive coming for 2024.
What about, somebody asked, how much did that paint job cost? I'm assuming they're talking about the wrap.
Yes.
So
yeah.
let's
yeah,
talk.
so
I
that
mean,
was another thing
this
I forgot
is
to
all
mention.
about being
Yeah,
clear.
that's what I forgot to mention on that. So if you remember back, a previous administration, our vehicles had the gold star, had the gold stripe down the side, had the 911, very, very similar stuff on it. Price-wise on that, when we did our first wrap, in the thin blue line flag was cheaper than going with the original decals that we had to begin with. And then the business closed temporarily over in Pendleton, where we do all of our, what we call our upfitting, that does our radios, our sirens, our everything. And they did the wrap themselves. So then it went up a little bit. So they recently opened up recently, but it's been a couple years, but Letter Wrap has a shop here in town. And price-wise went back to the same that we're paying right now, that we've been paying over the last, I'm sure it's gone up every year, but price-wise it's the same as what we're doing with the other ones. So I've got a 5-year guarantee on them, which is about the life of our patrol vehicles. So very happy. Pricing-wise is not an issue.
Well, you're also supporting a local business.
Yeah, and supporting a local business, for
That's
sure.
amazing right there.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Okay, question for you, Mayor Rock, coming from David Jensen. What's your favorite moment on the job so far as the mayor?
Actually, I got to go down. The kids were having an event, and I got to stand up in front of some 5th and 6th graders and give a little speech. And by far, the kids' excitement level, that was my best job as being mayor, is be able to stand up in front of the kids and represent the city and just see the excitement in the kids' eyes. You know, as a kid, I probably wouldn't have been that excited to see a mayor.
No.
But I also had my Rockin' Sons hat on, and I think that was a little bit more because I do support a lot of the kids' sports. And so at first, the mayor, they were like, oh, great. And then they said Rockin' Sons, and they all cheered. And I was like, yeah, this is great. So I'm helping the image of mayor as well as who I am.
Nice, nice. Were you nervous? Were you sweating?
No, that was actually an easy one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're kids. They're not judging.
Oh, no.
Kids are innocent. What about you? What's your favorite moment on the job so far?
Favorite moment on the job, I will say, was election night when I got elected, to realize all that hard work and that, people that believed in me and put money into my campaign and to help me win that election, and a big stress reliever. Since then, I can't think of something that's been really exciting. Other than the day-to-day job, obviously we have some exciting moments.
Forget about the kids, man. I've been around you, and those kids love you.
Yeah.
You know, you do an amazing job with them, and that's an awesome thing about you, Cody, is the kids love you as a sheriff, and
Yeah.
that I give you nothing but respect from that.
Thanks,
you know,
man.
to have those kids look up to you and be able to talk to you, that's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
I give you
Yeah,
your-
it's, thank you for that. It was something that I poured my heart and soul into, being the school resource officer, and developed a lot of relationships. And I was shopping for stocking stuffers here this weekend and ran into some of the girls I used to coach softball, and run up and say hi and give you a hug. And it just, you realize that that's what it's about, you know, whether it's this job or any other job or just being an adult in general. It's all about the kids. My favorite moments are when I get to go back into the school and see the kids and see what's going on and the staff and being a part of that. But,
Very first time I interviewed you was at the school, actually.
yeah, that's right.
In the old Tiger's Den
Yeah.
over there, which is crazy because I remember. It seems like it was like yesterday that we were sitting here talking about who your replacement was going to be
Right.
at the school. It hadn't even been decided yet.
No.
And I think Deputy Hernandez has done a great job too.
He's done a great job.
He really he embodies what you brought to the schools.
You know, part of that hiring process is, you know, I didn't pick who was getting that job. I had a couple guys in mind that I thought could do a great job, and they both applied for the job. And then I invited the school administration, Superintendent Mendoza, Scott Carpenter. They were there as part of the hiring panel, and they ultimately, you know, after the interview and the oral board, I mean, they decided who they thought was best for the job. And I said, okay, let's do it. And you know, I get comments. It's different. You know, I miss you. But nothing that is, you know, I mean, that's just in the person, from one person to the other, and how they handle situations, how they talk, how they walk, everything. But Justin's doing an outstanding job. Both of our SROs, Deputy Humphreys and Deputy Hernandez. I'm very fortunate when I say the people, you know, that I reflect on the staff that I have and how nice it is not to micromanage and just let them do their job. But guys like that would give me the confidence to do that and know that it's being done right. And their heart and soul's into it as well. You know, it's not just a job.
Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen. It's a live show where you can ask us questions. I mean, you're asking Mayor Rock and Cody the questions. I'm just facilitating. Another one from Benny Sweet and Low, and this is a good question because we just talked about this with Commissioner Anders on the morning show yesterday. With ODAT coming out and saying they're going to be short-staffed this winter, is that going to change how you handle possible closures and patrols and things that will come with the snow and fog?
It's not going to change how we do business. It's going to increase our call load for sure. We have a lot of rural families that depend on that, and you know, our county does an amazing job, and to the best of their ability, along with the city, to keep the roads clean and keep them safe. You know, we have lots of moments of, it seems like I've noticed more and more over the years that the interstates get shut down a little bit more frequently than they used to. That whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, but that's the impression that I see. It's the impression that I get. You know, what's nice about our community is we have a lot of support. So in each one of my my patrol vehicles, there's chains, there's shovels, there's tow straps. We recover a lot of vehicles during the wintertime. Our sergeant vehicles now, including my vehicle and the lieutenant, are all equipped with winches, recovery equipment to get people, you know, warm blankets, water, snacks, whatever that is, because, you know, living here, you know, it's a blink of an eye and the road's closed. It's blown over.
Literally.
Yeah, and we still have to respond to those situations. So we need vehicles that are in good enough shape. Not only that, but vehicles that are capable of that winter travel, that, you know, late fall, winter, spring, the muddy, the snowy. You know, we don't just, you know, we're not on the pavement all the time. So it's important that we have capable vehicles. So it's a lot of the reason why we focus on the Tahoes. The Chevy Tahoe is a good option for us because it's a bigger vehicle. It is four-wheel drive, obviously. It has the room for them to keep all their gear. And then the pickups, you know, were a backfill when we couldn't find any Tahoes, but the pickups are an amazing resource for us to have in the county, you know, on patrol.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, here's a question coming in from Brian Wilcox, and he says, Cody and Justin, we all talk about the kids. I love the kids as well, but what can we all do as a community to create more opportunities for the kids, like a YMCA or something along those lines. These kids need to get out like we used to. I agree with that.
Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, you
I
take
agree
this
with
one,
it
Mayor
too.
Rock.
What's that?
You take the lead on this one.
No, I agree with it too. I mean, I have a young one as well, but the tough thing is financing. It truly is. It always comes back. I mean, we do have a lot of good things for the kids. I wish we had more, but the school district is putting in the new gymnasiums in between the middle school and that. I think that's going to help a little bit. Maybe bring a little more, basketball, things like that to get them out during the winter. In the summer, I mean, we have great parks. Our sportings around here are great for the kids. We just got to get them out and doing it. It seems like the younger kids just don't want to be out there playing the sports like we did, and the sad thing is it's not what it was when we were kids.
Yeah.
There is a lot of enticement to stay indoors.
It is, and I think some of that is, we just don't have the programs nor the funding to help those out, and that's kind of a sad thing.
Yeah,
it truly is.
And I think even if we did have the funding, I mean, we can only do so much. I think it falls back into the family, into the household.
100%.
I've heard people say, kids are different than they used to be. I don't think kids are any different than they used to be. I just think that their surrounding and sometimes the way they're parented, or the teachings in the schools, or their accessibility to these darn things, that instant gratification that they get on the social media or the cell phone fix, it's a different animal. All I'm saying is, so even if we had some of those, I don't know if we'd fill them up with the kids. There has to be other stuff that that piques their interest, and we have to go in that social media world of the instant gratification. We have to do something that triggers their interest, that piques their interest, and then put that in front of them. Parents from where they were, his mom used to yell at me, and my mom would yell at him and say,
His mom's yelled at me too.
Get outside. You don't come back in until dinner. You couldn't even go back in the house to go to the bathroom. It was you drank from the hose, and you ran around outside, and you developed those face-to-face relationships and those communication skills and stuff. So it's just times are different. I would love to see more stuff for the kids. And I'll spur off on that real quick. I started working with an outfit called Friends of the Children. Okay. And if you get a chance, if you're not familiar with them, Google them, whatever. Simone Biles just did a huge interview and talked about Friends of the Children. And Friends of the Children approached me and asked, what are our needs in our community and stuff, and when it comes to our struggling youth or our under-supervised youth or whatnot. And we're working on bringing the organization here to Union County, and what blew me away about this program is they offer a mentor, a full-time adult mentor that stays with the kid for 12 years of their life. So from the minute they start school to the minute they graduate, and they get 4 years with an adult mentor, then they ship them to, or they trade them off to a middle school mentor, and these are all adult mentors, and they're paid mentors. And then the final one sticks with them throughout high school. And it's a mentor that, you show up a couple times a week with them, you take them out, you read a book, you talk about homework, you talk about stuff that's going on, you show them positive why, you show them structure, talk about discipline, you talk about all kinds of things. And it provides a constant person in that child's life until they graduate high school. And it just blew me away. But it's all done by donations, it's all done by organization that contributes to it. So there's 4 or 5, 6, 7 different mentors in one community, and they each have 3 or 4 kids that they're responsible for 4 years, and then they get another one that comes in 4 years, and then that one goes to that. So 12 years of that child's life, they have a structured, responsible mentor, somebody to give them a hug, somebody to tell them good job.
No matter what's going on.
No matter what's going on, just positive mentorship to show these kids, that might not feel loved or might not feel important or might not feel part of the group, gives them somebody that reinforces all the positive things in their life. So stay tuned for that, because that's coming. I'm doing everything I can to get that to Union County, and I'm very excited for where we're at.
It's kind of like the Big Brother program on steroids.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
love it. Your daughter Kinsey would like to know what your guys' favorite Christmas movie is.
I'll go first, because he's probably going to say the same thing. But Christmas Vacation is mine.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
That definitely is mine, but I also like Christmas Story.
The Christmas Story is a good one.
It's great. Huh?
Yeah.
You'll shoot
The
your
one kid
eye
that was puts his tongue on the pole.
Oh, Ralphie.
Looks just like Cody when he was young.
That's Ralphie, isn't it?
No,
No.
Ralphie's
Oh,
buddy.
no, the kid that
it
puts
was one of the other kids.
the buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets his tongue.
See, we tried doing that to each other, but we never
Yeah.
did it. We were smart
Yeah.
enough, I guess.
That would have been JB. Cody, go stick your tongue on that pole.
Norma Pepper would like to know how they can help with Friends of the Children.
Like I said, it's donation stuff, so they will be doing once the program is 100% selected and it's locked in. Hey, it's coming to LeGrand. Then they'll reach out to all of our community partners, and they'll find out who, obviously, screen and background and pick mentors, obviously, people that want to do the job. But as far as helping out in the community, the biggest thing is being a welcoming face to this program. It's all going to be, for the most part, done by local organization, local people, but the money obviously comes in from other places. This is something Michael Jordan donated to. I mean, it's absolutely huge. It just blew my mind that people want to do this. Les Schwab has Les's granddaughter is one of the main contributors to this. She's very adamant on bringing it here, and there's a lot of other people that are involved in it to make it work. But it is donations, and if you want to contribute to something that I believe is making a difference, Friends of the Children, and if you get a chance, those of you out there watching, Google it, look them up. Friends of the Children is an amazing organization, and as it progresses and gets more, we'll be doing some community awareness. We'll be bringing it to the table, have some community forums, some town hall type stuff, and sit down and talk with everybody and say, hey, this is what the program is, and this is how you can help. So until that happens, but I'll talk more about it as it starts coming to fruition here.
Very cool. Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen. Our guest, Mayor Rock, Sheriff Cody Bowen, brought to you by Loveland Safe Ride. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I got a couple more questions to ask these guys when we come back. We'll be back right after this.
Eastern Oregon is full of interesting people, with interesting minds and interesting things to say. Here at EO Live, we're committed to connecting you to these intriguing people with EO Talks. We let our special guests share their ideas and life experiences with deep, open, engaging, and inquisitive conversations. You'll also be informed in depth on some of the most recent and relevant events, issues, and more. EO Talks on EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
Welcome back. Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen. It's a live interactive show where you guys get to ask the questions and I just sit here and facilitate. We have guest Mayor Rock joining us. Kevin Elliott says his Christmas movie is Die Hard.
Oh,
A lot of people say
good
Die
one.
Hard. Yeah, but
that's
it's not
a
like
number
super
two.
Christmassy,
Yeah.
though. It's like, I think all the action in it kind of takes away from the fact that it's a Christmas movie. All right, let's move on to the next question. It comes from Chacha Burgess, and she says she's heard comments from others, including herself, that feel like some public places like Safeway or Walmart, for example, are beginning to feel very safe for people, specifically in the evenings due to people loitering outside. Is there anything in the works to help this?
I'll answer it from a law enforcement
Yeah, and then
perspective.
he can answer it from...
What we have to remember is that these are private businesses. Those buildings are private property that are open to the public. So I see the same things, the can exchange behind Safeway.
Yeah.
That's a big, it's a hot topic. What that falls back on is the amount of Safeway as a corporation, and not just local management because they don't want it there any more than we do, their policies and their guidelines on how they deal with loitering and trespass issues or whatnot. Ultimately, that store manager has to say, I want that person trespassed from this property. And that's a big decision to make. I mean, because that's your customer. At times you turn away. Some of them aren't customers that But at the same time, it is an issue. And Walmart, loss prevention, the thefts. It would blow your mind how much money that they lose every year just here on a local level, just due to thefts. And then you tie in that, that you used to have, all the campers and transients that would park out there next to the Panda Express now, but out there in that far end, and they're doing steps to deter that. They put a lot of stuff out there to take up that parking, so people can't just pull in there and park and stay for a month. They're addressing it to the best of their ability, I believe, but it is a problem that's bigger than just our local Safeway. The employees there, they're constantly calling, they're trying to do the right thing, but up the chain, it makes the decisions, and it's not like they can just throw somebody out of there and say, don't ever come back.
Now, when your guys are on, patrol, do they just drive through the parking lot sometimes just for a presence?
Yes, presence is probably the biggest deterrent of crime, if you will.
100%.
When people see the police, they tend to act better. They tend to,
straighten up that.
I know I do. When one pulls in behind me, I'm like, ooh, slow it down.
Slow it down.
But
let me see if I can get this seatbelt on real quick.
Presence is huge. I will tell you that on the county's end of things, our staffing levels are full for the money that we're budgeted for, but presence alone, just driving alone, sometimes we're driving from call to call to call, whether that's doing follow up on a crime that's taken place, whatnot. We have very limited time that we can actually, proactive police work is the word for it. But to sit somewhere and watch an intersection, for speeders or people running lights like that, we just don't have a lot of time to do that. But Walmart, especially, we spend a lot of time out there. Our local businesses, late at night, I know the city is constantly driving through those lots, making sure that people just know they're there and keeping an eye on things, checking doors. We're constantly driving through those high traffic areas just to let folks know that we're there and just kind of dial things down a little bit.
Before Mayor Rock answers that question, I'm going to say one more time. Last call. If you have a question, put it in now, and we'll get to it. But Mayor Rock, what about you? Like the city, like what have you guys talked about when it comes to public safety in public areas? They're private businesses that are semi-public, right? How do you really, how do you guys? What do you guys?
See, that's a tough one though, because they are human beings. They have rights to be there as much as everybody else. Safety, of course, is number one. I want people to feel safe in our community. But in the same sense, we have to protect everybody's rights. We can't just say, we don't want you here, so you need to go. And so I think the best way is, like Cody says, prevention, just having the police out and about and seeing them. I mean, that's all we really can do. It's a very, very hard subject to go through and just say, you can't be there, I don't feel safe with you here. You can't do that to people because people have rights. I mean, everybody, we're all human beings. These are our community, and we gotta try to, be together and work together to get through this.
Yeah, and a cop can't just go up to somebody at Safeway outside and be like, "Hey, you gotta go." No, there's a process that they have to be trespassed by the company, and then when they come back, then the police can intervene. Correct. But I mean that.
I will say though, that the state of Oregon as a whole, has kind of continued to feed this bear, if you will, to create this transient problem or this acceptance that it's okay to pitch your tent on the sidewalk. I know that the mayor and the council and the chief of police have worked very hard to establish a city ordinance that's kind of given us some teeth, to fight back in the public areas, where somebody can, pitch their tent and when they can do it, when they can't do it. So they've been very proactive to look at our surrounding communities and in our west side of our state and say, we don't want that problem here. Let's address it now before it gets here. So kudos to them because they've done a good job at that.
Awesome.
And county as well.
Before we get out of here, I'm going to give you each a couple minutes to just kind of, if you want to give a summary of your year, if you want to say what you're grateful for, whatever. Cody, you go ahead and go first, and we'll end with Justin.
Obviously, like I said, I'm grateful for the working relationships that we have. I'm grateful for my employees, for each deputy that's out there at night, to my admin staff, to my staff in the office. Most importantly, I'm grateful for my family. My wife and kids give me a reason to get up every day and continue to do this and want to make it a better place. I focus a lot on other people. You know, I don't say no to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I focus a lot. Sometimes I find myself doing more than I do in my own home or for my own family. Most important thing, if there's anything about me, is my family.
Yeah.
I want people to know that I'm proud of them. From my daughters, my son, my granddaughter, everybody that's involved in my family. I would not be the person I am. I would not be in the position I am in without them, especially my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayor Rock.
First off, I'm thankful for my wife, because truly, as you said in the beginning, I wear many hats.
Yeah.
And so if it wouldn't be for everybody that supports me through all my endeavors, you know, from my business to the people that work for me, you know, they step up and help, you know, my business run when I'm not there being mayor. You know, from the city manager to the different directors, you know, I couldn't do my job without them doing their job. You know, for end of the year though, I truly want everybody to think about this. Each one of these first responders, come Christmas, they're going to be up there working. Make sure each and every one of us are safe. And I urge each and every one of you, when you see one of them, to thank you. You know, because we wouldn't be safe and have the communities that we do, because we're very fortunate. LeGrand and Union County is an amazing place to live. And that's why I volunteer my time, because I truly believe that we have a great community, but we need to keep, you know, progressing and doing what we're doing. But like I said, Sheriff, thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and to everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dodzy,
Awesome.
for having me.
I'll tell you
appreciate it.
guys. Okay, so before we get out of here, I consider both of you guys friends, and the thing that I appreciate the most about both of you guys is very similar. What you do for the community. First off, you do different things. I mean, you do different things with Rockin' Sons than you do as the mayor. You do different things with coaching and with you know, just personal stuff than you do as a sheriff. And then the one thing that I appreciate the most about both of you guys is every time I've texted or called either one of you guys, I get a response prompt. And that says a lot about character to me. It really does. There's never any hesitation, you know what I mean? And that's huge for me. And that's probably the thing that I appreciate the most about both of you. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Happy New Year. Merry
Appreciate
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen, man. We'll be back next month. We'll find a new guest. We totally appreciate Loveland's Safe Ride, man.
Yep.
This New Year's Eve, if you need a ride and you're in Union County, give them a call. It'll be posted everywhere. It'll be all over Facebook, the phone number, the information. Give them a call, and they'll get you a ride. Don't get behind a wheel. We're out. Till next time.